Hello, welcome to another Wine with Tweedy video. I'm just in my back garden, I'm afraid. I should probably have made the effort today to go to the heath because the sky is quite nice. Let me show you what we can see of that from my back garden. It's not a great view. We're going to be trying some more Bourgogne Haute Cotes de Nuits today. This I picked up in Jeroboam's in Hampstead the other day when I also picked up that fantastic half bottle of Gevrey Chambertin, which turned into a very expensive shopping trip because I went and ordered a dozen. They were so good. And this was the main reason I went, actually, and this sort of fell by the wayside. It's a 2020 vintage and the producer is Aurelien Verdet. I have a feeling I've had something from that producer before. I hope it's not the Bourgogne Haute Cotes de Nuits. I don't think I've had this before, but this is still part of my quest to find somewhat reasonably priced Burgundy. I cannot remember the price of this now. It was in the sort of £30 ballpark. Oh, there is actually a vineyard name on here I missed as well. Le Prieuré. Again, that sounds kind of familiar. I hope I'm not repeating myself. What do we have there? Sort of dark rubyish sort of colour on the nose. Not initially getting a lot of fruit here. Getting sort of odd kind of licoricey, almost tarry, sort of tobacco-y, licoricey kind of notes, but not much in the way of fruit. That sort of licoricey, tobacco-y thing follows through onto the palate a little bit. Yeah, what's happened to the fruit here? It's sort of composite or somewhat technical cork by the looks of things, so I hope I'm not dealing with cork taint again for the second time in as many weeks. But that can't be quite right. Surprisingly little fruit. It's okay on the palate. There's a certain amount of balance there, I suppose, a bit of acidity, tiny bit of sweetness, but more of that kind of tobacco licoricey thing going on. I think I might need to let this sit for a while open and then come back to it. Thought I'd do unusually an interior bit of filming, partly because it's cold and I can't be bothered to go back outside, and dark, to finish off this Aurelien Verdet 2020 Bourgogne Haute Cotes de Nuits. The fruit hasn't really emerged. I think some of those sort of leathery, tobacco-y, almost kind of gunpowdery notes. I don't know if this is because it's, today is November the 5th and yesterday I was at Lewis Bonfire. Perhaps my nostrils have been filled with, having watched the fireworks and everything, perhaps my nostrils have been filled with saltpeter, whatever you call it. But it definitely has this sort of bizarrely topical or gunpowdery, sort of fireworky sort of smell to it, which is probably a relative of that struck match note that you get in reductive winemaking and or possibly wine that is reduced. One of those things is intentional, one of those things is a wine fault. Yeah, so again, licorice, tobacco, something in that kind of smoky, gunpowdery, matchstick sort of family. I can't quite decide if this is meant to be like this and it's sort of unique and unusual and this kind of bonfire Burgundy, or if it's faulty. I would love to talk to the producer and figure out, is this what it's meant to be like? I mean, to a certain extent, if this is what it's meant to be like, it's not necessarily my cup of tea. It's not something I would go out of my way to find in future, but it's sort of interestingly different. But if it's not meant to be what it's like, then it's a bit of a disappointment. Yeah, a bit of an enigma, that one. I'm erring on the side of this isn't really what the winemaker wanted to present, but I don't know, I could be wrong. Most of the other Bourgogne Haute Cotes de Nuits I've had have been a bit more fruit driven and sort of simple expressions of the terroir, and because it's not far from Nuits Saint-Georges, that area is sort of sometimes considered an adjunct of Nuits Saint-Georges, and I expected sort of, more that kind of character, but bit of a mystery. I probably would not go out of my way to buy this again as a one-off. Interesting. Anyway, cheers.